Satnam, aloha, welcome to the live stream. And it looks like I'm live. Just want to double check. That's great. Okay. That out of the way. Right on. Just reading everybody. Santa Fe. So welcome to the full moon live stream. Wow, people from all over. It's great that you guys were able to make it. I'm feeling a little bit, I got a little touch of heat exhaustion yesterday. Kind of snuck up on me, so I haven't fully recuperated, but I've got my coconut water. It looks like I'm drinking from the cosmos. So bear with me. Okay. So let's start off here. Okay. So this full moon is ruled by the 11th gene key, and this is the shadow of obscurity, the gift of idealism, and the city of light, L-I-G-H-T. So the Galactic Center is also ruled by the 11th gene key. Okay, it's like about 26, 27 degrees Sagittarius. So the Galactic Center, this is what we're traveling towards for the Aquarian age. This is a big, big deal. So it's a transmitter of divine light. And that's why 2012 was such a big deal, because it was the first time that planet Earth was aligned, directly aligned with the Galactic Center, right? This took thousands of years to happen. So through all of the solar activity, you know, with the solar flares and the sun that the mainstream media does not cover, right? But the sun's a big factor in this new evolutionary consciousness that the ancients warned us about. So with this solar activity, the magnetic field of the Earth is weakening. So this means our collective ancestral memories are releasing, because the magnetic field holds them in place, holds the memory in place. And so the Galactic Center, right, is what we're traveling towards. And this divine energy that's coming from the center is awakening our DNA. That's the purpose, right? So this is supporting us to evolve into the new human. And in turn, we create the new Earth. So these memories are releasing. The memories that are releasing, they're shadows, and they need to be transmuted, right? These ancestral memories are trapped in shadows. So, you know, we carry all of that ancestral memory here. It's in our body, it's in our cells. So this is what's surfacing. So with this shadow pattern of obscurity, you know, it's not really about the shadow. The shadow's not obscuring the light, right? It's the belief that you can get the light without facing your shadow, right? So another term you've probably seen kicked around, and I've talked about too, is spiritual bypass, or I call it spiritual leapfrog, right? I don't want to face my deepest fears. I don't want to have that big cry. I don't want to be vulnerable. I just want the light. I want light and love. I want the unicorns and the rainbows without doing the work. And the work is to transmute these shadow patterns and transmute these ancestral memories that are inside each one of us. So, you know, for thousands of years, religion has promised this, right? Come to us and we'll give you the light. And in return, all we require from you is your blind faith in your beliefs, right? Total 100% belief without questioning, and of course your obedience to that, right? So that's like a good example of obscurity is religion. So the Aquarian age is all about your experience, right? Beliefs won't work any longer because it's not enough. Because beliefs are up here, they're in the mental. They're in the mental realm. They're not here in the physical. So if you're holding tightly to a belief, then the universe is going to send you an experience that will test that belief, right? Especially if it's not true. So it can rip that away from you. So I like to use the example, say, like a right-wing Christian woman believes that homosexuals are all going to hell, right? Like that's a belief from their religion. So what does the universe do? The universe gives her a son that comes out as gay, right? So there's the test. Does she follow blindly these beliefs that that she's probably inherited from her parents or grandparents and on? Or does she follow her heart through this direct experience, right? And then you can speak from the direct experience. Usually these people that are all judgmental and all fire and brimstone, they've got no direct experience. They don't know any homosexuals, or they think they don't exist because it wasn't socially acceptable, or people were afraid, they stayed in the closet. So it's your direct experience that's real and true, right? So do you speak, like, just reflect on yourself, do you speak from your own direct experience, or do you parrot what teachers have told you, or what your parents told you, or your grandparents told you? Is it coming from your direct experience? I'll use me as an example. Like, I was always a little rebel, like, early indigo. And my parents would say, don't smoke, right? Don't ever smoke cigarettes. They're really bad for you, blah, blah, blah. Of course, I had to try, right? I had to try the cigarette. And I coughed and, right? And it's like, no, that wasn't for me, right? So I'm not like advocating that, but you know what I mean? Like, I I had to have my own direct experience, and then you can speak from authority then, can't you? It's like, no, I've experienced this. So this is also about taking off your mask. We wear masks, or have worn masks, in the Piscean age, because the programming partner of this 11th gene key of obscurity is vanity. And this is a deep, deep fear of living from your heart. And this is what's being called for, right, in the Aquarian age. We have to start living from our hearts, right? So it's this fear that people will hurt you, right, if you're vulnerable. I'll be a doormat, or people walk all over me, right? So the capital T truth is that you're much safer in your heart than in your mind right now during these times. That's a safe place for you to be, is actually in your heart, because the mind can't guide you now. You must be experiencing this, right? The anxiety and the mental pressure and the duality, like the back and forth, right? The mind is not a good place. The mind's freaking out because of this evolutionary energy that's being released. And it's going to get even more intense, especially right full moon in the Galactic Center, like today, and then heading into the eclipse season. So it's your heart. So we have to start learning to trust our hearts as our inner guide. And not even going into intuition, because the mind can fool you too. Oh, I'm in my third eye right now and I'm listening, right, to my intuition. The ego can like sneak up there and, oh, don't do that. That person is bad and they'll hurt you and this and that. And you're thinking it's your intuition. It's not. Whenever it's, coming from fear, that is not your intuition. That's the mind and the ego pretending that it's your intuition, right? So your heart knows, right? Your heart knows. So this full moon will illuminate those areas where any beliefs are obscuring the light from you, right? Because that's what you are. That's your true identity, is light and love. And that's what we're all seeking, the light. We use all kinds of different terms for it. Oh, I want that perfect relationship, and I want that perfect career, and I want to feel at peace, and I want to feel joy. I just want to feel love. But those are all words for I'm seeking the light. That's what you're really seeking, is the light. I'm seeking who I am, right? So, these beliefs may be going back past lifetimes that you've held on to, right? So this is a time to really release. The full moon is about releasing any beliefs that are keeping you from your true identity, your light. So you want to be open to insights, right? And Jupiter's conjuncting the full moon, and Jupiter expands everything, right? It expands everything. So you want to be really in. And I just noticed too that Mercury's involved, so that will really affect your thinking. So really be open to any insights that are coming to you, and pay attention to your life, right? You want to really be vigilant about paying attention to your life. Like, what are people saying to me? What experiences am I drawing to me? Right? Everything is really important right now, especially, this coming summer. It's going to be intense because we're preparing to enter into a powerful eclipse season. And one aspect of this is balancing the feminine and masculine parts of ourselves, and also the brain, right? So the 11th gene key also rules the right side of the brain. And this is our feminine part of our brain that's been repressed for thousands of years. So this is the intuitive side of our brain, and this is the part that sees the whole and not the parts, right? The masculine sees the parts of the whole, but it doesn't see the whole, right? And we need both. I'm not saying, no, you should get rid of your masculine side of your brain. We need both, but we're coming into balance. It's the balance of the masculine and the feminine. So the right side of the brain uses the language of archetypes, right? So archetypes, they're energy signatures that live deep within the unconscious mind, right? That we all share as a humanity. So we all know them, right? When you say somebody is a diva, oh, she's a diva, we all know what that means, right? Someone who's entitled, difficult to please, challenging, uncompromising, expecting their every whim to be fulfilled, right? We just know that, and all you say is diva. So this is the full moon is activating, right, this right side of our brain. So images are going to begin to release. You may have already experienced that. Your dreams, right? So pay attention to your dreams. But these images are going to start to release, and these are actually ancestral memories. So it's important not to identify with them, with these images that are going to start to flood, right? Don't take them literally, right? So see them as symbols. So here's an example. Maybe you have this image that comes up and you see yourself with a microphone in front of a large audience and you're singing. So the ego will grab this archetype of the star, let's call it the star. That's the archetype of the star. And the ego runs with it. And then suddenly you're taking singing lessons and you're trying to get a record deal because I have this image. The ego's like, you've had this image of the future, but you end up chasing this pipe dream that never manifests. Okay? So there's an example of taking it literally. But if you sit with the symbol of what was coming up, what image was coming up, and you ask yourself, what is the essence of this image? What's the essence of this image? What is it communicating to me? Like, go beneath the surface of things, right? As a humanity, we stay on the surface of things. We have to start seeing things from the right side of the brain. We're learning a new language, right? So we want to go deeper, and it's like, what's the essence of this symbol? Okay, well, you say, well, it's communicating that I need to speak up more in my life. I need to speak from my authentic self. I bite my tongue a lot. I try to be nice, right? Because I've been taught to be nice and keep the peace, and right? And that's what the symbol is showing me, that I've got to start speaking from my authentic self more. I have to start speaking from my feelings. I have to be vulnerable, right? When we speak from our heart, we're vulnerable according to the ego, but we're not. We're in our power when we're speaking from our heart. So do you see the difference? Right? So just be aware of what these images that start to surface, like what are they communicating to me? I want to start asking yourself questions. Right? As soon as you ask yourself a question, 9 seconds, if you sincerely ask yourself a question and you sincerely want to know, all you have to do is wait 9 seconds and then the answer will start to come. Right? That insight will come to you. So right, these images can, you can burn yourself out. You become disillusioned if you chase this image, right, that the ego has created, right, has made this big story out of it, what your life should be, instead of embracing, right, what's in front of you right now. So I just want to speak to the people that I wrote this on the Facebook thing. You probably saw it, the Shadow Astrology Facebook page, about if you feel like you're a late bloomer. I'm sure some of you out there feel that way. I'm a late bloomer. I missed the boat. It's not my time. It's to remember that, I missed my boat in the terms of my higher purpose. And maybe you felt lost along the way, especially if the ego starts comparing your life to other people's lives. Oh, I should have more security now. I should have this. I should have that. There's a script to our lives. That I'm here to tell you that the seed that was planted before you incarnated, right, as a soul, when you incarnated, you were planted with a seed. And that seed is starting to germinate now, right? It's about to start to germinate now. And it's definitely connected to the Galactic Center, the divine energy that's coming from the Galactic Center. So all these experiences that you've had throughout your whole life, it will start to make more sense, right? Oh, that's why I went through that. Or that's why I was so drawn to this job that I had for a while, or this training, and I felt in my ego mindset that was just a waste of time. You went to a dead end road on that one, right? It's all going to start to create the synergy inside you. So I want you to really trust that, okay? Because this is our time. This is our time that we're in right now, right? We're here to help people transition into the Aquarian age. And the ego and the mind are going to say, who, me? I've got nothing, right? I've got nothing to share. Who can I help? I can't even help myself. All those, all that negative tape loop. But you have to remember, you're here for a reason. You've incarnated in this time and space, So it's about trusting, right? That all the gifts are inside you. They just need to be awakened. They need to be activated. So that's what the Galactic Center is working on, for this full moon and then the upcoming eclipse. And the eclipse season goes right into 2020. So, but to get the gifts, we have to move through these old emotional traumas. These are the shadows. We'll start to release. They have to lift. These old emotional traumas, they have to surface first. We have to face our shadows, which is really facing your fears, right? So this is the other thing that the shadow of obscurity does. It takes that energy of fear, right? And then the mind takes that energy and then creates a form out of it, because the mind has to understand, right? It only understands forms. So it creates a form out of it, and then we project it out onto another, right? So a perfect example is D. Trump. He is the collective fear of the annihilation of the species, right? So the mind, we've created him. Like, that's the spiritual truth. We've created him, right? And it's projected out onto him. So he's only playing a role, right now. And interestingly enough, his he just had his birthday, so he's got this 11-12. His his number one shadow is Vanity. We can see that, and then his evolution is this 11, right? This obscurity. So he's just playing a role. So we have to watch this. You know, if we're projecting a lot of negativity on someone, that is our shadow. That's our work. We need to bring it back to ourselves. This is not about this person. This is about me facing my deepest fears. What am I afraid of? Why am I projecting this out? What's the deeper fear? The deeper fear. So when we do that, when we face our deepest shadows, right, our deepest fears, then and transmute those, right, and they automatically turn into the gift. It's like kissing the frog, right, and there's the prince, right, kissing your shadow, and there's the gift. So that only then can we take our place as the co-creators of this new earth. So in my research, where the Galactic Center, the 27 degrees Sagittarius, where it is in your chart, right, will tell you a lot about what your part is to play in this new paradigm, this new earth that we're creating. It's very, very interesting. So, do people have their rising signs? Do you know your rising signs? You guys? It's really easy to find. You just go to astro.com. I'm just going to put this here. Right? So I just posted that, astro.com. And so you go there, you get your chart, you get your free chart, and then you see the circle, and it's that first square, and that's your rising sign. Okay? So I'm going to go through each one. Okay. Okay, Suzanne Seth, yeah. Great. Uh, Lala, what's your rising sign? Put your rising signs if you know them. Cancer rising, Sag, Jupiter rising, okay, Scorpio, Aries, okay. Okay, let's go through them. So if you're a Sagittarius rising, and I see one here, Jupiter rising. So this the Galactic Center is in your first house, right? So this 11th gene key is in your first house. So this means that you're a pioneer, and this means you feel ahead of your time in your thinking, your ideas, and your concept of truth. So you may have felt like, oh, I was born at the wrong time. You know what I mean? You just feel like ahead of your time. And you may have buried this pioneer energy inside yourself, right? Just to get along with people. Oh, Tula Beans, Leo. Okay, so you personify the energy of the new Aquarian human, and you intuitively connect with this new paradigm that's coming, this new Aquarian consciousness. So you carry a deep knowledge that you're here to do something of importance, right? So this is about boldly stepping into these new patterns of light that are coming to the planet and really embody this unity consciousness, because that's the Aquarian age. We're embodying this unity consciousness. So interestingly enough, if you follow U.S. politics, Alexandria Cortez is Sagittarius Rising. So she completely, to me, embodies this new paradigm, right? And it's so ahead of her time from the consensus point of view. Okay, so Linda's got that. 2. Okay. Oh, and devoted to design. So you guys have that. And then Jupiter Rising, I noticed, has that. Okay. So let's go to Scorpio Rising. So we have a few of those. Scorpio Rising. Scorpio Rising. Scorpio loves astrology. Okay, so this means the Galactic Center, the 11th gene key, is in your second house. So this is you resonate with ideas about this new economy, right? The new economy. So you're going to be somebody that notices the inequality of income, right? Why do we play these sports heroes? You know, I just watched the NBA playoffs. They're making like 50 million bucks. Like, it's crazy. And why are our teachers making so little? Why is there this inequality of income? So you have a real sense of the value of things, right? That the values don't come from material things. Our values are more important. They go deeper, right? The values of community, the values of relationship, of oneness, of taking care of one another, especially the least among us, right? This connectedness and love and peace, right? So, interestingly enough, if you follow U.S. politics, I'm sorry to be using politicians, but it's really, you know, it's just easier to look at a public figure, right? To see this. And Bernie Sanders, right? Bernie Sanders is all about the 1%, right? And this inequality of income. All his posts are about this, right? So he's got the Galactic Center in his second house. So you have something to do with creating this new economy. Now, if you're Libra rising, I don't think I saw any Libra risings in the chat. Your Galactic Center 11th gene key is in the third house. And so this makes you think out of the box, right? You're thinking. The third house rules thinking. And this is quantum thinking, like miracle thinking. So these ideas, they need to be shared. So you have to share these ideas. So you don't want to obscure them. And obscure them is like pushing them down. Like, where did that idea come from? You know, we're being, especially with someone Libra rising, right, you're being downloaded with these ideas. They're coming from a deeper place than your mind. So this is, we need everything starts with an idea, right? A thought. So this jump starts the creative process. You know, I think of Star Trek. You know, I want to look at his chart. The original writer Gene Roddenberry. I bet he had the Galactic Center in the third house. So you must communicate if you're Libra rising, right? Through writing, TV, the internet, right? YouTube, all that, teaching and speaking, lecturing, even music, to get your ideas, these ideas out into the collective. So if you're Virgo, I love this because it's really bringing us together, isn't it? Like, we're all creating this Aquarian age together, and we all have our unique gifts. So if you're Virgo rising, the 11th gene key or the Galactic Center is in your fourth house, right? And that's home. So this is about creating the foundation. The fourth house is about foundations of this new paradigm, of this new earth. So this is connecting past and future, because we don't want to just toss the past away, right? There's gems from our past that we can learn from. We want to grab those, and then we bring these future new ways of being, right, together. So if you're Virgo rising, you see the earth as our mother, right? And you help show people how to live to that ideal, right? So you're drawn to more of a matriarchal point of view instead of the patriarchal. So you honor the old and the young, right? So not just shipping off the elderly, right? You see them as wisdom keepers, as valued world citizens, and the young, right? That the young and the old have a lot to give for this Aquarian age. So you really resonate with the Divine Mother, right? The Cosmic Mother. Now, if you're Leo rising, I saw a couple Leo risings. In the Galactic Center, the 11th gene key is in your 5th house. So this is about helping our children, right? Because our children that have been born on the planet, they already have this new paradigm. They don't have to go through all this crazy shadow work that we do. So it's helping them, right, get heard, or helping to liberate the divine child within the adults that are aligned with this new paradigm. So helping to let go of all that conditioning so the divine child can come through. So also creatively expressing their personal will in ways that foster benevolence, right, and taking care of one another instead of greed, right? That, and also embody the spirit of play and having fun, and being passionately guilt-free. And also the 5th house, if you know, that is like ruled by Leo, right? So it's a great place for Leo rising. And that means to take risks, like feeling like emboldened to take risks that are divinely guided. So interestingly enough, I'm a Leo rising, and my work is totally with the inner child. And every time I'm like, I want to do something different, right? And I work with somebody, and it's like, oh, this is so obvious. This is a wounding from childhood. So that's part of my purpose here. I'm working on the play and fun though. That's a little challenging for me at times. Okay. So if you're Cancer rising, the Galactic Center is in your 6th house. So these are the healers, right? 6th house is practical healing. So the divine healers. And also intuitively guided to work with holistically with people, right? Instead of just treating the symptoms. So you would be somebody, a healer that someone would go to and with a sore leg, oh, my leg hurts, I need it to be healed. You're not going to focus on sending healing light to the leg. It's like, well, what does this represent? What's it communicating to you, right? You're going to be that kind of person as a Cancer rising. So you are really creators of new systems of living organically in balance with Earth, right? And servers of the new paradigm. So you use your intuitive guidance to know your roles in bringing in the light, but you're also going to help other people, right, with knowing their role to bring in the light. So servers of the new Aquarian paradigm. And Yogi Bhajan, he had his Galactic Center in the 6th house, and he was totally a server of this new paradigm. And he was talking about healing the earth and climate change and all that stuff way back in the early 70s, right? He's got lectures about that. So Gemini rising, the Galactic Center is in your 7th house, right? And that's relationship. So this is about resolving conflicts peacefully. This is the diplomat, right? In the spirit of cooperation, trust, and unity. So this is about, relationships. Healthy relationships are based on honest sharing and communication. And so helping others to see their relationships in the light, right? In the light. And seeking balance and harmony in relationships and enacting win-win solutions to problems. So you Gemini rising people, you're like the diplomats, right? The peacekeepers of this new paradigm, right? How? Because we got to work together, right? But we have to heal our relationships first. So the Gemini rising people are going to help with that. And then Taurus rising, I saw a Taurus rising on here. Your Galactic Center, 11th gene key is in your 8th house. So this means you're a powerful transformer, right? Wherever you go. So this is with systems, people, right? Outdated ideas or ways of being will become pressurized to change or crumble, right? The eighth house is all about like dissolving, right? Dissolving, recycling so that something new can come. So you're going to bring that just with your frequency, right? And this is a profound truth based on love, light, and light. So anything that's right, all these institutions that and systems that are seated in fear, which is most of them, they're all crumbling. But this new can emerge. So you're going to help to transform. You're going to help to recycle these systems. And also death, right? The eighth house rules death. So seeing death as another means of transformation, like totally changing the paradigm of what death is, being more open with it. You know, with death in the Western society, it's kind of swept under the carpet. We don't want to deal with it, right? So our whole, especially with the baby boomers aging, right, our whole ideas of death are going to be changing and seeing it more as a conscious, right, conscious death. So with Taurus rising too, you're not afraid to expose these fears into the light, okay? And then sex will change. The eighth house rules sex too. So seeing this as a powerful union of two souls, not this power struggle, not this coming together out of karma and hormones and all that stuff, like the tantric, right? The tantric sex. So interestingly enough, Tulsi Gabbard, if you know her, she's another one throwing her hat in for the presidency. She's awesome. She's from Hawaii. And she's got her Galactic Center in the eighth house, right? And she's totally talking about the aloha spirit and, you know, truth based on love and light. And then bringing these on truths, right? These war, right? Corporate sponsored wars into the light. So very, very brave. So that makes sense. Okay, so if you're Aries rising, and I saw an Aries rising, the Galactic Center is in your ninth house. So this is tuned into the ninth house is the higher mind. And this makes you a divine receiver, right? You got the antenna up, right? You're receiving divine information and impulses. So you're just tuned into that. And ninth house is all about traveling too. So you're the citizen of the world. You get that. I'm a citizen of the world. I'm a citizen of planet Earth. I don't belong just to one country, right? So you think globally and universally. And so you'll be the first ones to interpret, right, off-world communications, which means, right, our galactic brothers and sisters. You're going to be able to interpret what they're communicating to us so we can communicate back to them. So tuned in and tapped in, right, to this quantum energy field that connects us all. Now, if you're Pisces rising, the Galactic Center is in your 10th house. The 11th gene key is the 10th house. So this is about standing in your own unique authority and working to help others connect to their own authority. So this is the father energy, the sacred father energy, coming into balance with the sacred mother energy. And so this is seeing time as part of a natural cycle, right? Like how nature is with seasons and cycles, not just with looking at your calendar and the time, right? Clock time. Seeing time in a whole different way. So you're going to help people to see that. And then career, right? In your profession, because this is like your outer standing, right? The 10th house is your public standing. So this is, you'll change the paradigm of this about what's true for the person. You're going to help people find what's true for them. Instead of like, oh, I can make a lot of money doing this and it's safe and secure, even though the person isn't really into that career choice. So this is going to really change, right? If that in itself, if people just did what they loved, I mean, that would change the planet instead of what they should do or what's safe and secure for them or what's going to get me the health benefits, right? Free of all this conditioning 10th house is all about our conditioning. So if you're the Aquarius rising, the Galactic Center 11th gene key is in your 11th house, and this is your genius is put. I mean, the Aquarius rising is going to love this because Aquarius rules the 11th house anyway. So this puts your genius to humanitarian goals. So working with groups of people in a cooperative way. And the ideas of community really appeal to you, right? Conscious community. And you've got a vision, right? Because it's also the 11th house of vision, long-term vision and goals, about how we can connect together as a way to further humanity. And then, right, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, so it's those sudden genius lightning bolt ideas about how to do things completely out of the box that come out of nowhere. So community and friendship. So if you're Capricorn rising, the Galactic Center 11th gene key is in the 12th house, and this means like the 12th house is complete dissolving, right? Dissolving of the self, the little s self. So this means recognizing and working with their own divine self and helping other people to connect to their divine selves, right? And then helping people come out of the darkness, which is their fears and the ego, more into the light of who they are. And so you would be possibly creating meditation retreats, right, to help people connect to their divine being, and helping people to dissolve their ego in a healthy way. It doesn't mean the ego completely disappears, but it becomes a healthy ego. I read a quote the other day that was really good about the ego. In order to dissolve the ego, you have to have an ego worth dissolving, right? So a lot of us have that deflated ego, like I'm the worst, I'm not good enough, blah, blah, blah. And what we need to do is heal that ego first into a healthy ego, and then it can dissolve. It's not going to go the other way around, like, oh, I'm the worst, I'm going to dissolve this. It's still the ego attachment. Okay, so hopefully that will give you a little sense of, maybe where to focus your energy. I'm just looking at some comments, so bear with me. Oh, Ash. Ash is a Libra. Do you guys resonate with this? It's going to become more apparent with the eclipse season coming in. Okay. Catherine, thank you for helping people there. Yeah, right. Carlotta, rising is the ascendant. Okay. That's great. Because I resonated with mine. And it was like the same, you with your father energy, right? It was like me with the inner child. Oh, I can't escape this inner child. It's in me. It's a gift. Okay. So let's just talk a little bit about the eclipse season. So this is the Capricorn Cancer axis that we've been working on since January 5th, 2009. Right? So letting go of the Capricorn, which is the patriarchy, and embracing the Cancer, which is the matriarchy. Right? Cancer is our inner child. It's our emotional self. It's about nurturing ourselves. It's about following our hearts. So we're letting go of this old paradigm. So this is what the universe is showing us. Like, this is what our work is. So we started on January 5th. The next one is July 2nd coming up. And that's a Cancer solar eclipse. So solar eclipses are like the new energy. July 16th is the Capricorn lunar eclipse. That's the letting go. And then December 25th, that's a huge day. There's so many planets in Capricorn on December 25th. And this is the Capricorn solar eclipse. And then there's January 10th, 2020, Cancer lunar eclipse, June 20th, 2020, Cancer solar eclipse. And then the last one's July 4th, 2020. And that's the Cancer lunar eclipse. So also I just wanted to mention too, looking at the USA chart, that's Sagittarius Rising in the USA. So that fits with the United States are leading the rest of the world into the Aquarian age, right? They're the embodiment of this new paradigm. We can't see it yet because we're in the shadow patterns, but it's there. So what I've done is I'm going to have an eclipse series, right? So that's going to start on July 2nd. So it's the day of the solar eclipse. And then the next workshop is July 16th. That's the Capricorn eclipse. And then July 30th, and that's like an integration workshop, and that's preparing everybody for December 25th, 2019. So the beauty of this, because it's going to get very, very intense emotionally, is it helps to really know, I love Kundalini yoga and meditation. Of course, that's part of the tool. But I found in my experience with Kundalini yoga and meditation, it wasn't enough. It was too general. It was too impersonal for me. But then once I got into the gene keys, human design, astrology, then that gave me that individual personal work that I was really seeking. So it just really helps to know, based on your chart and everything. It's like, oh, I'm called to let go of this part of my life, right? And now I'm to embrace this part of my life, right? And it depends where everything falls into your chart instead of the questioning, right? Because the thing with what we're to let go of, we know it. It's so familiar to us. We've spent lifetimes and lifetimes in that paradigm, right? So going to this new unfamiliar place can be scary. So yeah, so for instance, for me, it's in the 6th and 12th house. And I also am on a natally Cancer Capricorn axis. So letting go of Capricorn, going into Cancer. So I know this, right? My lifetime has been spent in this paradigm. And so now I know it's like, oh, I've got to change the way I work, right? I have to relax more. I have to embrace following my heart more. I've got to let go of this duty and responsibility that comes really naturally to me, and to stuff down. It doesn't matter. It's all about serving, right? Serving other people. So now I know that, right? So now I know that, oh, this is what the universe wants me to let go of. And then now I'm being rewarded. I can feel myself being rewarded when I try it. It's all about trying and having the experience of it. Okay, so that's going to take place starting July 2nd, and it's 122. It's super affordable, okay, for 3 workshops. It's going to be loaded with information, like way much deeper than this, and we'll go into more detail with things. And the bottom line is I'm going to help teach you how to manage your emotions. Like that's really the most important thing, because things are going to get very, very emotional. And you may have experienced this already out in your life. Like Hawaii. Who can get stressed in Hawaii, right? Living on Hawaii? Well, lots of people, right? I've had this experience of this road rage, and it's like, man, if you cannot chill out in Hawaii, where can you chill out? Because it's not about the environment, it's about what's going on inside, right? So you'll learn that, and plus you'll be in group consciousness, and yeah, there's lots more, and more actually comes to me. With my experience, it's like, okay, I'm going to set the dates, because this was an inspired idea while I was doing the dishes. I should have an eclipse series. I think this will really help people glide through this energy. And then setting it up, and then, oh, here's what I want to do, but then more comes, right? Because it depends on the people that show up. So I really hope that you can attend. And I've made it at a time that it can reach the people in Europe, because there's a lot of Europeans that want to participate, and then the United States. I've done my best, right, with the time. So check that out. I put the link below for that. And what else did I want to say? That's it. So thank you for everybody. Capricorn. Yeah, so needed at this time. It is. Yeah. Oh, it is. Okay. That's great. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. I feel better now. I feel like that heat exhaustion just left me. I know, Raphaelia. Yeah, I could get stressed out in Hawaii. It's true, eh? It's all about how you're feeling inside is what you look outside. I remember going through a deep depression once. This is also Capricorn, right? Can bring depression, right? And I'm driving down the hill, and it's gorgeous here, right? The ocean and the colors and the flowers. And I knew that consciously, like, oh, I'm living in paradise. But because I was feeling this inner state, it's like it can't get in, right? I'm not experiencing this. I know this mentally, but I'm not having the experience of it. Okay, so we want to start shifting our internal self. Okay, so but I wrote some more stuff on the series. Okay, on my website. Okay, thank you everybody for attending, and I hope you have a great week or a great couple days. Okay, Satnam Aloha.